Scorecard development in Spider Impact can be made easier by using copy, templates, and rollups. Start by selecting Scorecards and then click Mobile World at the top. If I expand Mobile World, I'll see there's a sales org at the bottom, which is broken down into a number of areas, with US broken down the most into East Coast and West Coast, and then East Coast broken down to Northeast and Southeast. The very bottom of sales is an org named Sales Template. To build up the sales organization, this template was leveraged to create all the various regions so that they were all identical. To confirm that, I'll click on Sales, select Edit, and then click on Organization Info. See, it was based on Sales Template, and if I click on it, I get taken directly to that org. I'll select Done and click Select. Reviewing the structure in more detail, I see that there are two generic items at the top. Beneath that are KPIs, and in some cases sub-KPIs. If I click on Product Sales Revenue, select Edit, and scroll down a bit, I see that this template org leveraged the concept of template rollup, so that when data is loaded at a level like Northeast, values automatically sum to East Coast, then to the US, and then to the sales parent. I'll now select Done. Under Presentation, if I click on Dashboards, I see there are 4 of them. If I click on Reports, there are 2 reports that are tied to this template. At the top, if I click on Africa, I see the 2 reports. If I were to click on Dashboards and Scorecards, I would see the exact same items as shown at the template level. All these items came across automatically from the Sales Template org. With that as background, I'd like to create a new organization for Europe based on the Sales Template org. At the top, I'll click on Sales Template and then click Edit. I see that I have 2 options to copy an org. The first option is Copy, which will copy the scorecard structure and all the presentation objects for that org. This option creates a completely distinct organization. Any future changes to the original org will not be reflected in the new organization. Since that is what I want, I'll select Copy. I'll accept the default in the top left to just copy the top level and change the organization name to Europe-Copy. Next, I have the option to select which components of the original template I wish to copy over, like owners and updaters. This is something I would need to think through carefully for each org, but for now I'll leave each of these unchecked. Note that threshold values applies to thresholds that have been applied to a specific period. Thresholds that are defined at the KPI level will automatically carry over, regardless of whether or not this box is checked. Since I want the new org to be directly beneath sales, I'll accept that in the middle. I'll then select Copy and wait for that to propagate. The second option is Copy as Template, which will again make a copy of the scorecard structure and presentation objects. However, unlike the Copy option, any future changes to the original organization will be reflected automatically in the new org, creating an ongoing connection between the two. Once again, I'll select the sales template structure, but this time select Copy as Template. With this option, a key thing to note is that up at the top there is a blue banner warning that any future changes to the org structures, scorecards, dashboards, and reports will affect the new organization. Since I'm okay with that, I'll move on. I'll accept the top left option again. I'll leave the synchronize options blank, accept sales in the middle, and then select next. I'll change the org name to Europe-Copy as Template. With this option, I have the ability to add a prefix or suffix to the new org for its scorecards, dashboards, and reports. To be consistent with the other sales orgs, I'll type Europe as the suffix. And I'll copy that all the way down. I'll then click Copy and then select Done to get out of edit mode. Next, I'll look to test things out. I'll click on Europe-Copy and choose Select. I'll select Scorecards and verify the scorecard structure looks as I'd expect. If I expand the structure, I see I have the generic items, KPIs, and sub-KPIs. If I click Product Sales Revenue, I'll see that the thresholds that were defined at the KPI definition level have come over, but the actual value has not. I'll then select Dashboards and Reports and verify that those objects came across. I'll note that they are blank because I haven't yet loaded any European data. I'll then select Europe Copy as template. I'll select Scorecards and verify the scorecard structure looks as I would expect. I'll then select Dashboards and Reports and verify that those objects came across. Once again, everything is blank because I haven't yet loaded any data. So I have two new structures, one that is living independently of the original template and one that is permanently tied to it. Next, I'll illustrate that any future changes made to the template will have no impact on the copy structure, but are carried across to the template structure. I'll go back to Sales Template, select Scorecards, and select New Scorecard Item. I'll type Discount Card Sales and select Create. I'll then click on it, select New Scorecard Item. I'll type Number of Cards Sold and change its type to KPI. Next, to have values roll up the tree, I'll scroll down to the Field section. I'll change Actual, Red Flag, and Goal to Template Rollup. I'll then address what should occur if there are missing values. I'll keep my default of Treat Missing Values as blank to avoid having to populate entries for this KPI across the entire sales org structure in order for a total to appear. I'll then set the red flag to 100 and the goal to 200. Next, I'll move back to the KPI details area and see that once I set at least one of the items at the bottom to template rollup, a new option has appeared named Template Rollup Equation. Since this is a numerical KPI, I'll leave the default to have the number of cards summed as I work my way up the sales tree structure. To the left of that is aggregation type, which controls how values are handled when I switch from monthly to quarterly to yearly in the top right. I do want this to be summed, but one thing to note is that if I did change this to average, the product automatically changes the template rollup to average. I could then change that back to sum and ensure that both are switched. At this point, I'm now ready to click Create and Done. The question now is, what is the impact of that change? If I click on Europe Copy as Template, I'll see that the new generic item and KPI have automatically come across. However, if I click on Europe-Copy, the new generic item and KPI is absolutely nowhere to be found. So this is behaving exactly as I would expect. The copy structure is completely independent of the structure that I made the copy from, while the copy as template structure contains an ongoing link. Getting back to the idea of rollup, I'll load some actual values for the new KPI I created to see the impact of that. I'll select Northeast under US. And then select the number of cards sold KPI. I'll click Update, load 300 for the month of September, and then click Save. I'll then click Southeast, select the same KPI, and load 200. If I switch to East Coast and select that new KPI, I'll see that even though I didn't load an actual value directly to this org, it is coming across. It is taking the value for Northeast, adding the value for Southeast, and providing a grand total of 500. If I hover over 500, it shows me that it is summing two KPIs. And if I click on that, I actually see the math. 300 came from the one area, and 200 came from the other, Southeast. I'll select Close. If I go up to Sales and select the same KPI, I'll see the same number of 500. However, if I hover over it, I see that it is intending to sum up a number of different KPIs, just not set Northeast and Southeast. Once values are loaded for Northwest, Southwest, etc., that total will grow. The last thing I'll do is go back to Northeast. I'll click on the KPI and change the period to yearly. Because I set the aggregation type to sum, it simply adds the Northeast values up to provide a total. Since I've only loaded one data point, the value would be the same as the monthly level for September, which in this case is 300. The next topic is expanding new organizations that were built via copyist template. New structures are not locked into what the original template contains. New items can always be added after utilizing the option. For instance, going back to sales, there is value of sales and number of sales, which came from the original template. Discount card sales also came over, which I just defined at the sales template level. But what is also here is sales pipeline, which was not part of the template. It was something that was wanted for just the top level of sales, and so it was added just at that level. If I were to select any other organization like Africa, I would not see sales pipeline. The last item I'd like to determine is what happens if I need to edit anything that came from copyist template. If I select Europe copyist template, and then the number of cards sold KPI, and then select Edit, I'll see a note that this KPI is based on a template and that only some of the settings can be overridden. If I select KPI settings, I can switch from Use Template to Override Template. And just as the note warns, some items can't be changed, like the aggregation type. Under KPI value, template rollout is also grayed out. However, I can't change how missing values are treated. The default value for the red flag and goal can also be set. For in this case, just the Europe copyist template org. At the generic item level, I can select advanced options. From here, I can choose Override Template and alter the start and archive dates.